Entitlement in the workplace, that is a hot theme today, and a lot of organizations are bemoaning the fact that employees are showing up expecting everything. Well, let me give you a news flash. Maybe it's not them, maybe it's you. Are you setting them up to have a sense of entitlement only to be disappointed when what they assumed or perceived was going to happen doesn't happen, or not as soon as they thought it would or should? So I'm going to give you some very practical ideas as how you can eliminate or certainly minimize, control, and contain the attitude of entitlement, and replace that with a path forward that will demonstrate to people what they should do to advance. It's not about entitlement, it's about earning the right to be rewarded. And that can be done, and you can do that with some very simple steps. Okay, so let me start by talking about the mindset of entitlement and how we address that if we are hiring people. What I see all too often, what isn't done, so this is the what's not happening that should be happening piece, is that when employees are hired, and this is any age group, right? So I'm not talking specifically millennials here, I'm talking anyone now. We don't often make it clear to the people that we're hiring exactly what we expect. Let me elaborate. I believe one of the first, if you will, the bedrock or the foundation for effective hiring is to describe or explain the values that our organization embraces. In other words, do we have core values? Do we have a mission statement and principles? And this isn't about just handing copies out and say, here, read this, smarten up, this is how we roll around here. That means nothing. If anything, that undermines what you're trying to do. It cheapens it. How this should be approached is by talking about what the core values are and how they lead to principles and decisions and then behaviors that we expect in this organization and what we all hold ourselves and each other up to. This is really important because this defines the culture for the organization. Values are critical, so corporate values and your values. And a little kind of sidebar here for a sec, we're going to be doing an upcoming video where we will be dealing with the importance of defining your core values and give you some guidelines for how to do this. Because core values need to be just that, core. You cannot have 35 core values. Right? That's a field of dreams of values. So we'll talk more about how you can define that. But back to how we use this within an organization. If I am hiring someone, it is incumbent on me as the hiring manager or supervisor to make it clear what we expect as an organization or my department or my division. I don't have to apologize for this. Too often I see companies say, well, here's what we try to do, and we really want everyone to, get over it. This is your firm. If values are something that you live and operate by, state them clearly, unapologetically, because that's what makes you unique, and quite frankly, that's what people find appealing. They want clarity and certainty, not ambivalence. So lay out your foundational values, state what they are. Now the next part is really important. You tell people what they have to do to get there. What I mean by that is you define the path forward for living the values and not, this isn't about entitlement, this is about earning the right to be given the opportunity or the position or rewarded it based on production, contribution, being part of the team, fitting in, being one of us. Being one of us, how we become that person is by understanding, first of all, responsibility and expectations for my job. So do you have clear definitions? Do you have job descriptions? Do you have key performance indicators, core competencies? You may call them something else, but most organizations have something that explains very clearly to the new employee what is required. That's the foundation. From there, then, what you do is you coach and teach the behaviors and the skills that are required to deliver on point or above what is required to do the job. And then how we are entitled to move up and be rewarded is by demonstrating that we're competent and skilled at doing the job. And then the third piece that is really important, and I don't see this often enough, we can lay out the values, we can say here's what you have to do, but the third point is reward. People want to be acknowledged and rewarded. That does not mean necessarily writing a check and only financial rewards, although that often is not only is it important, people expect that, but that's not usually what we lead with. That is something that comes down the road after there is consistent demonstration of performance and behaviors that are required. The biggest reward that people seek all the time, and I hear this regularly when I coach people, and often the point why people leave organizations, they don't feel valued. So you reward the person that has put in the effort after you've explained to them what is required based on literally eye contact and a connection and a conversation, affirming, demonstrating appreciation and gratitude for their efforts, and saying what you're doing is exactly what we not only expect, but this is what will move you forward. These behaviors, if you continue to demonstrate them, and these skills in your contribution, your attitude, and being part of the team, will earn the right, or earn you the right, to advance into the position that you seek. Guys, if we make it this clear to people, then they don't have the assumptions of what could be, should be, or will be. Perceptions are based on assumptions, and when you do not explain to me what I should do and how I should do it, I have to assume what I should do. And often where I get my cues from are other people within the organization or other people that I know. And in many cases, the information they're providing is not accurate or on point relative to the behaviors we're seeking. So it's your job as a leader to eliminate the entitlement mentality by laying out a clear path forward for people so that they understand what's required, that you support them along the way, and then you reward them. And then, yes, they are entitled to a promotion and they are entitled to a raise, but it's based on their performance and contribution.